Hello everybody and welcome back to Everything Created. Today I'm doing a plant video because they're much more fun to make. I don't know why, but anyway, I'm starting with this one because I just watered it and it's probably one of my favorites. So I'm doing this one first, getting it out of the way. This is a bronze Venus fern, which is a type of maidenhair fern. It is one of the most beautiful things ever. These taller fronds that are kind of growing above the rest of the foliage, I have a paper towel under it because I just watered it, but I'm going to try to show you there. Those taller ones that are sticking way up, like this one right here, they are called fertile fronds. So those particular leaves, I'm going to try to bend this back and show you here. These particular leaves have, zoom in, those little white things on the edge of the leaf. Those are, I don't remember what they're called. But anyway, they ultimately they house spores. I can never remember what they're called. And then these lower fronds, like down here, they're called sterile fronds. Oh wait, no, that's a fertile frond. Let me find a sterile frond. Here. Sterile fronds, they don't have those spore things on them. So this is a bronze Venus fern, type of maidenhair fern. They're pretty easy to care for, but the main thing is they just need a lot of humidity. Like most ferns indoors. If they don't have enough humidity, they'll start dropping their leaves off. That's why most people can only keep them alive in like vivariums and things like that. But if you have a humidifier near them and you try to like group a lot of your plants together, they'll do really well. Next up is another fern. This is called a rabbit's foot fern. I love the shiny plastic looking leaves. They look very fake, but they're still really cool. And they're called rabbit's foot fern because they have these above ground rhizomes. Can you guess where rabbit foot comes from now? They're very furry, kind of soft to touch actually. It feels like a rabbit. Not really, it doesn't feel like a rabbit, but that's beside the point. These are very, very attractive plants. And the same thing with the rabbit's foot fern as I said with the Venus fern. They are really easy to take care of inside, but they need a lot of humidity, so you'll have to group them together. If you live in a really dry area, you'll have to do things like grouping them together by a humidifier, or you could make a small tray of pebbles underneath and then fill it with water and then set the plant on top of the pebbles. But to me, that just seems like a lot of work because you'd have to clean it all out. I don't know, just whatever works for you. Yet another fern. I need to water this one because the dirt's kind of getting dry. Ferns don't like that. This is some kind of weird Hawley Fern. I was not able to identify the exact species, so I'm going to get you a good clear picture, see if anybody can tell me exactly what this is. But it looks like plastic and it's hard almost. It kind of feels like the holly bushes. Like I see where it gets its name from. But yeah, they're very interesting. I don't know yet whether or not these are easy because I've only had this one for like a total of 24 hours. So I'll let you know eventually if they're easy or not, but so far it's doing fine. So we'll just see how that goes. I haven't seen anyone else that had them, so I don't really know whether or not they're easy because I've never heard anyone say whether they're easy or not. So yeah. One more fern, and then I'm going to be getting those out of the way. This has a lot of water stains on the leaves, so I need to clean them off. But this is called a staghorn fern, and there's actually quite a few individuals in this pot. I know you won't be able to see them really, but it's not doing that great. It's got some brown tips on the leaves there. So these are epiphytic ferns. A lot of people choose to mount them on driftwood with sphagnum moss and things like that, but I don't know. I don't know. I kind of like them in a pot, and they seem to do better in a pot because they stay wet longer and they don't really like drying out. I've tried to mount them in the past, and they always dry out super fast and then end up dying in no time. So these are nice, I guess. They're just what they are. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. Now going on to real plants, we have creeping Jenny, often called golden pennywort. I think it's what it's commonly called. I've had a lot of mixed success growing this indoors. It trails really nice, and I like plants that trail and go straight down. Otherwise, like I don't like the plants that stick out whenever they're trying to trail, if that makes sense. Because like creeping fig, it just wants to go straight out and then it kind of falls down. Hoyas just grow weird, and lipstick plants grow weird. I'm very particular, and there's a fungus gnat. I hate those things so much. I'm very particular about hanging plants. So the fact that I actually like these, they've got to be good, you know. So I'm going to show you up close some of the golden colored leaves if I can. My light is not back far enough. There we go. So the leaves grow like perfectly parallel with each other. And that's one of the coolest looks, in my opinion, of a plant that has a lot of leaves like this. They're just wonderful. I like them a lot. You should totally get them. They like to stay wet. They really like to stay wet. They don't like to dry out at all. They're marsh plants, actually, so I've been told, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that they can actually grow in an aquarium for an extended period of time because they are, like I said, marsh plants, so they're used to being able to adapt to an aquatic environment if they are flooded. So they can grow in an aquarium for a little while, but they eventually do die, as far as I know. Next, we might have my favorite plant in my entire collection, Begonia angel wings, and I'm going to have to actually adjust the camera here. I had boundaries set. Everything was perfect. And this thing had to be so big and mess it up. I have like markers and pencils and a butter knife telling me where the camera can see, and now this thing has messed it up. Anyway, I'm going to scoot this back now. It's got these weird like angel leaf looking wings. Angel leaf looking wings. Wow. That was a stroke of stupid right there is what that was. They have these angel wing looking leaves. Somebody told me they look like they had leprosy, which they kind of do. And the underside of the leaves is like this maroon color. But they're really pretty. They do flower indoors, but this one has not flowered yet. I haven't had it very long. And they're almost always staked up. I guess they're really weak stemmed. I don't know because I haven't even tried to remove the stakes yet. And I love that it came in this. You hear that? Can you hear that? I'm going to move the microphone closer. That's a good pot. That's a good quality pot. Now it's sitting down inside of a nursery pot, but it's got a cover pot that fits it perfectly. I haven't even looked in here yet. Oh, that's interesting. So it's got a cover pot that fits the nursery pot, and I love it when plants come like that because I don't have to repot them because they look fine. That's just the coolest thing ever. So I want to try to see if I can show you these silver spots up close. Yeah, that'll work. Get it to focus. Those little silver spots, they actually kind of look metallic. I don't know how a plant does that, but it kind of reminds me of Scindapsus. It has that same true metallic look to the white spots on the leaves. Now these aren't often credited for being silver, but they're still really pretty. This is Begonia maculata, in case you're wondering. This is another one that I really like, and it looks huge in this picture, but it's not huge at all. This is my hand. It's just small. It's in the same size pot as the rabbit's foot fern, but for some reason it looks so much bigger. I guess it just has bigger foliage, and there's some. It's kind of tall too, so it's playing tricks on the camera. That's what it is. But these leaves are some of the most crazy looking leaves I've ever seen. I want to get up close because I used this scene right here as a background for my phone because the veins on the leaves are just so cool. This is a Maranta, I think Leucanera is what the scientific name is, but it's a prayer plant, a red prayer plant. And they are, from what I've heard, they're not very easy to take care of. I actually have another prayer plant, but it's a calathea, not this. And the calatheas are extremely hard to take care of. I mean, they just want to fall over dead. They have no will to live. The leaves curl up every chance they get, and they're just awful. But this one, I have high hopes for this. I mean, Walmart kept it okay, so I'm thinking I can do okay too. I've got good conditions. It's all crowded with other plants, and it's got a lot of humidity. So I'm being sure to give this a lot of humidity too. So it has a ton of humidity, really bright light, and I'm going to keep the soil, I think, lightly moist and then kind of let it dry a little between waterings. That's my plan. If not, I'll have to if I have to change that, that's okay too. I'm gonna uncurl this leaf and see what it looks like on the inside. This does not hurt the plant as long as you let it curl back and you don't break it. Oh, it looks young. Obviously, hasn't even uncurled yet. Ugh. Okay, so I was not going to show you guys these other plants, but I decided that I simply had to. So today actually marks the second week. I got them 2 weeks ago today. And this one I had to repot because it was in a 2-inch pot and it was drying out too fast. This is Pilea peperomioides, one of the hardest ones to say. It's got these like perfectly round little leaves that connect sort of in the middle of the leaf. They're very weird leaves. And they all grow from the center, and over time they kind of grow upwards and then keep putting out those little discs. So they're interesting, but they're also weird. So I don't really know how to feel about them. I like them, obviously, because I ordered it, but they're just not the coolest things in the universe, but they're pretty cool. This one is Peperomia Frost or Frost Emerald. I'm not exactly sure which one it is. It's showing up like a completely different color on camera than it actually is. It's more green, like a silvery green. There's the color. That's what it looks like. It's like a silvery green in person. It's probably the LEDs making it look weird on the camera. But they grow in a very tight cluster, like right in the middle, and it just puts out thousands of leaves from that one spot. They like to dry out a little bit, but not as much as some other Peperomia species, so I probably need to water this again, actually. But I can tell that looking at the soil, it has a lot of peat content, so they kind of have designed the soil to hold more moisture, so I don't want to water it too often. But I ordered these, like I said, 2 weeks ago, and they're doing really well. Oh, and this one. I forgot this one. Okay, there's a little bit of a story, actually. I had a massive accident with this plant earlier today. So this is a chain of hearts or string of hearts, and it came in a 2-inch pot. I'm going to zoom in on some of the hearts so you can see them. They're just gorgeous. Eventually, these will actually like trail off over the side, and they just keep on going. They're really, really beautiful plants, but I had it in a 2-inch pot, and 2-inch pots are tiny. Let me show you one. So this is a 2-inch pot. They are like ridiculously tiny. This is my hand. This is the pot. They're just little bitty. So I had these plants all in this little pot. They were hanging off the sides. They looked really good. And then I dropped it. Okay, dropping it's not that bad. But to make matters worse, it was already wet. I just watered it and it wasn't drying out very fast. I dropped it and it fell into a bucket that I used for a water change on the aquarium, and it still had water in it. So they fell into the water and they got soaked. So in a panic, I washed the roots off and then put them in dry soil so they won't end up rotting. So the main killer of these things is overwatering them. They have very succulent, thick leaves. So they like to dry out between waterings. There you can see how thick that is. They like to dry out really well between waterings because they hold on to a lot of water. Thank you guys for watching. I did not show my... Oh, no. I forgot. One more. This is the last one. I promise this is the last one. This is a kangaroo paw fern. And kind of like the rabbit's foot fern, I'll have to dig one out and show you. Okay, down here, I'm not sure I can lift it and move the foliage back. This little furry foot, I'm going to try to zoom in. Oh, there we go. That is the kangaroo. I'm not sure if they're called kangaroo paw because of the 3 leaves like this, or if it's because of these little kangaroo tail looking rhizomes. Regardless, it's a really cool plant. And what you need to do, okay, this is important. Listen very closely. Take one of these if you have one and agitate it, okay? Shake it around and then smell it. Can you smell that? Can you smell it? Can you smell it? It's kind of like a sweet smell. It smells like those, I know what it smells like, the pine cones, those scented pine cones that you buy around Christmas time. It smells like those, like a lot like those, but really weak. They smell really good. I don't know why. It's weird. So the scientific name for this is Microsorium diversifolium, and the reason it's called diversifolium is because it's got this leaf right here, which is just long, and then it has this one, which is split. This one is also split. This one is split 2 ways rather than 3. This one's really small. I mean, they're just like, every leaf is a little bit different. So they're called diversifolium because they grow a lot of weird leaves. These like to be watered with distilled water. They don't have to be, though. And they like to stay lightly moist, but they want to dry out a little bit between waterings just to prevent rot. And over time, they can actually grow. They can climb things, basically, with those roots. They are very impressive plants, and they're really easy to take care of. This one is in a, I don't know, that looks like a maybe 6-inch pot. It was a hanging basket is what it was, but I propagated some of the runners off so it's not hanging anymore, so I just took off the hangers and it's now a floor plant. So there we go. These aren't as picky about humidity as other ferns are. They've got these glossy leaves, and that seems to kind of hold in moisture for a lot of plants. So that could be something to look for if you want a plant that holds in humidity better or doesn't need as much humidity. Look for glossy leaves. Hard, like thick, glossy leaves. Okay, so I have some more information, but this is not involving any plants. But I'm gonna set plants out so you can look at them. Move my light. So you can just look at these while I'm talking. So a week ago today, the reason I'm not showing myself on camera right now, a week ago today I had a surgery, and it wasn't a big surgery, but I don't look very good right now. I have some problems going on and stuff like that. A little bit of pain. Not bad, but I didn't want to show myself on video right now until I'm recovered, and that's why I didn't show my face in this video. So I decided to do this video, and just letting you guys know, I will be doing primarily plant videos, probably from here on out, at least for a little while, because I like doing plant videos more. They're easier to do, they're a little bit more fun to make, and I feel like it's just easier for me to relax, and that will make it more of an enjoyable experience for you guys. And if you want to message me about anything, or if you want to buy isopods or possibly even plants we could talk about, message me on Instagram, because that's where I get back to people the quickest. Instagram, or you can comment on any of my videos on YouTube, and I'll see those really quick too. I'm not really on Amino anymore. I do go on there sometimes, but I'm not really active on there. So if you want to contact me, remember, YouTube and Instagram. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe,
and tell your friends.